Okay, how's it going, fellas and ladies and gentlemen? We're gonna be doing a reading today. I'm gonna be doing a tarot reading for, I think it's for you. I think it's for you. I got a good feeling it's for you. I'm opening up right now my new deck, the Light Seers. Sorry, it looks like crap. I'm not opening up nicely. The Light Seers Tarot deck. I have other decks. I've lately been feeling aligned and feeling connected with them to where I want to have them. I want to have them. Ever since my first experience with a deck that wasn't actually mine, it was actually a relatives of mine, and they never used it. They just had it maybe out of interest, maybe out of curiosity. I had been introduced to tarot style readings before then, but I had never had access or had come in contact with a tarot deck. I never got any readings from anyone. I've never seen one. And the one I actually had was like a color, you could color it in. So it was colorless. The tarot deck that I first came in contact with was colorless, and very kind of like basic and bland. But that deck, that's when I knew I had to go ahead and get my own. Was as soon as I put my hand on that deck and started shuffling and pulling cards, it was giving me messages. It really changed my life. I can't even say anything else besides that. It changed my life. And, I remember, understanding things about, mind you, this is a new deck. It probably against traditional tarot readers that I open a new deck and go ahead and start using it right away. And I knocked it 4 times. They would say knock it 3 times. But I'm going to go ahead and start. I'm going to flip through the cards real quick so the cards are, I think they'll be ready for me immediately. That was my last experience with my last new deck, was that they're ready for me immediately. And, yeah, so that deck really immediately was speaking to me. It was speaking to my life. It was speaking to what was going on in my life at that time. And it was also offering a lot of clarity on what steps I needed to take next in order for me to get to where I was trying to go. So at the time, I was literally, if you watch my last video where I was speaking about, the tarot cards that I aligned with, which were the Fool, the Magician, and the Hermit card. But I am a Pisces male, and the tarot card that they say is our energy would be the Hanged Man, which I can understand that, but individually, I align more closely with the cards that I just named. And actually, there's a story behind my connection to the Fool that I think would be very interesting to the lot of you. But I'm going to save that for another day because it's a really good story. And that was my introduction to tarot. I love this deck. This is such a great deck. And this is why I wanted it, was because I felt like it was so, I grew up off of, as a kid, like middle school and prior, I was like a Barnes & Noble kid. Was I the smartest kid in class? No. Was I in Barnes & Noble reading science novels? And no, I wasn't. I was reading comic books. Amazing Spider-Man, Batman, Wolverine, and not just comic books, right? I was reading the amazingly illustrated comic books that just made you, like, you had to continue reading and you know, exploring Barnes & Noble for these comic books. They were amazing. I bought a few because they were so amazing. I love The Amazing Spider-Man. Batman is, I would say, like my alter ego. Like I like to think of myself as Bruce Wayne, even though I'm not Bruce Wayne. Clearly, for multiple reasons, but you know, for the main reason, I'm not a billionaire philanthropist yet. And sorry again, I'm getting used to making eye contact. Please just bear with me with the eye contact, with the camera lens. This is such a brand new experience for me. I'm literally just starting out. I'm a baby. That was kind of weird. All right, I'm flipping through these cards. I just wanted to get my hands on them, and I'll just like, yeah, I'm not showing you any of the visuals, but you can kind of see like the coloring, and you know, it really gets the artwork, right? It reminds me of comic books, like the comic books I used to read as a kid. So this is going to be a short reading because I already spent probably about 10 minutes. What is it? 6:44. I spent about 10 minutes, you know, lollygagging. And before I even get to start shuffling, we got the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups, before I even get to shuffle, wants to make itself known. So what do we know about the Knight of Cups? I mean, like, in the illustration, and again, I'm a beginner. In the illustration, this guy has, if you can see, he has a bouquet of roses in his hand. And then you can see the white horse in the background. If you're looking at the original tarot deck, the Knight of Cups is going to be a knight on a white horse, with a cup in his hand, right? He's moving in love. He's moving in love. Let me shuffle this deck. I just want to say that's going to be the theme of this reading. Oh, and they're just, they're not letting me live. Ooh. The Five of Wands. In reverse. In reverse. So the Five of Wands upright, what does it mean? It means conflict. It means, it can mean inner conflict, but it can also mean outer conflict. It just means trouble, right? And I think I'm coming from experience where I really understand what this card means. I have this card from my first deck that I'm not using. Ooh. It's not there. The Five of Wands reverse, I think if I'm going to interpret this card, it means that we're putting down the wands. We're, you know, in the wands are like life energy, right? I'm seeing the fire coming from, it looks like we're all reaching for the fire. It feels like, I don't know, what do you guys think that means? But it came out in reverse, right? And then we got the Fool came out behind that one. So I already said the Fool I align with, because the Fool is a fresh new beginning. This is my new beginning here. I'm going to continue shuffling, get a good shuffle. The King of Swords jumps out. The King of Swords. Swords are communication, intellect, you know. The King of Swords. What do I know about the King of Swords is that he's seeing above the mountains. He's above the mountains, which means that he has clarity in his life, in his mind. And you can clearly see his the sight of his eyes is above the mountains. And then he also has his sword, and he has all these animals with him. He's got the crow. And in this, what this means to me, this reminds me of myself. I just can't help it. This reminds me of myself because he's connected with nature. You know what I mean? Like he's one with the animals. The animals understand him. And he understands himself as well as the animals. He's very understanding. That's what I understand about the King of Swords, that he's very understanding, but he's not willing to sacrifice himself or what he believes in for anything. He's very confident in himself. All right. This is I love that I got this deck. I didn't expect it to be here today, and it just so happened to just show up in the mail. And I was packed up with the camera. I was like, yeah, let me go ahead and I have a message. If you check out my last video, I shared some of that message. But yeah, let's continue with the reading. I'm gonna have to split the deck and get a real shuffle in real quick. Let's see if I know how to shuffle. Please bear with me. Are we at the 10 minutes? Yeah, we're at 13 minutes. I'm sorry, guys. You gotta bear with me. This is a new experience for me, and I'm trying. I'm really trying here. There we go. This is coming to you raw. It's coming to you raw. There's gonna be no edits. I want you guys to experience this experience with me. You know, because maybe there's someone out there who's contemplating whether they should get started, and maybe they feel like, you know, there's no one would take them seriously. Maybe, you know, whatever the nonsensical, you know, background noise is, because it is nonsensical, right? It's not rooted in reality. It's not rooted in reality. I had a card slip out. Let's see what it is. Ooh. It's the Nine of Wands reversed. The Nine of Wands reversed. All right, now I'm getting a real shuffle in. I'm shuffled, and now I'm pulling for you. Already we get 2 cards flying out. Let's see what they are. The Knight of Pentacles. And the Magician. The Knight of Pentacles and the Magician. It feels very personal. This feels very personal to me. I told you I aligned with the Magician, right? I use the elements to explain, to guide me, right? And right here, the Magician and the Knight of Pentacles is telling me that we are using our elements to bring something new to life. The Knight of Pentacles. And I'm going to be an intuitive reader right now, right? I don't have much background in tarot. My first encounters with tarot was 2 to 3 years ago. Sometimes I need help understanding what other readers would understand when it comes to tarot, but I'm going to give my intuitive read on what these cards are signifying. I see this Knight of Pentacles, right? And what I'm understanding about him is that he's very abundant. He's very abundant, but he has no shoes on. He has no shoes on, but he has a pentacle on his back, and he has a pentacle in his hand. If you can get in there and see it closer, there's a pentacle in his hand, and he has that horse. The horse is, it has red. It has the red colors on him, and what I understand about red is like, zest for life kind of thing. Passion. Right? Passion. So he doesn't actually have any red on him, but the horse does. So I have to assume, and he's not even riding the horse, he's walking with the horse. So to me, this means that he's not really attached. He's definitely not attached to much. It looks like to me that he's dropping these pinnacles. If he's not dropping the pinnacles, he's at the very least walking past them. But I don't, and he doesn't have any shoes on. He's walking barefoot. Maybe some of us need to walk barefoot. I will let you know that is not something that I'm very comfortable doing at all times, but it's something that I want to get into, and I will, begin to stick my feet into the dirt and touch grass. But he looks like he's embarking on a new journey. He looks like he's embarking on a new journey, and it's really not a new journey. I think he's moving. He's just living life. He's just living life. I'm going to move forward from this card, though. And then we had the Magician. And the Magician is actually, he doesn't have, the pentacle is tattooed on his arm. I can see that. And then he has the 8, or the infinity sign. I like to say 8 because my birthday is March 8th. 8 is my lucky number. But he looks like he's using, some type of telekinesis, some type of ability to he's also meditating. I'm not exactly sure what he's doing here. He's just alchemizing. I don't know if he's creating something or, And then on the bottom of the deck, we have the Queen of Swords. I don't know, guys. This message feels layered. This message feels layered, but it's starting to feel like a lesson, isn't it? More like a lesson and less like a message. These cards are really small. I'm having to get... Alright, guys. I'm going to have to wrap it up. I just hit the 20-minute mark, and we'll continue this. I promise you guys, I had made a video recently where I was just stating that, you know, I'm someone who has to welcome failure, because I'm not superhuman. I'm not exceptionally good at things naturally, you know. I mean, that's a lie. I do have natural innate abilities that you know, I tend to... I have to find those abilities. They're not just like, oh, you're good at basketball. Nope. I sucked at basketball when it first came, you know, when I first experimented or played with it, you know, and I never, because it was fun to me, it was something that I could do over and over again. And as I did it over and over again, I became good at it. So I like to use that example or other examples. You know, I have many examples of things that I didn't start out good at, but I got better, and then I became good at it, you know. So something I said before in the last video was that, you know, I'm gonna fail a million times. I'm gonna fail a million times. I'm gonna mess it up a million times. I'm gonna make a mistake a million times. But on 1,000,001 times, I'm gonna be really, really good at whatever it is. So, cheers to the 1,000,001st video. Hopefully it's like next month. You know what I mean? Hopefully I'm able to hammer these things out and just get it out of the way. But I'm not rushing. It could be next year, right? It could be 2027. I'm glad I'm starting in 2026. I'm going to enjoy the journey. I'm going to enjoy the experience of, you know, growing and you know, really finding myself within this channel. And you know, you guys walking, you know, you guys helping me through that experience, and you know, being you know, friends and comrades on this journey. And you know, with that, I'll just say I look forward to meeting you guys and you know, exploring more in the depths of tarot. And yeah, be tuned, stay tuned. I have other decks that I really enjoy. I think you guys will enjoy these decks too. I think I did crack this deck open too soon. I think I need to give it more time because the messages, it just wasn't aligned. I felt misaligned. So I'm not gonna make any excuses. That does sound like an excuse. It kind of is an excuse, but now it was a learning experience. I understand why they say, you know, to spend time with the deck, to intentionally shuffle it, maybe even live with it, sleep with it. I slept with my last deck. My dreams were out of control. Not out of control in a bad way, but they were like really on point. Actually, I had another story for another day, but one of those dreams was almost like needed to be had so that my family could make a conscious decision on a very touching subject. So very grateful and thankful for that experience. But the next reading that I do for you guys, it will be with a deck that has been properly you know, worked on, if that's the right terminology for that. But you guys will see that my readings are usually very insightful. So looking forward to the next one with you guys. And again, you know, whether you like this one or not, I'm going to be coming back, and I'm going to be coming back, and I'm going to be coming back. So, you know, even if there's just like a slight interest to see how it goes for me, subscribe, keep in contact, drop a message, drop a like, drop a comment. You know what I mean? I'm not someone that's really like hunting for subscribers. I'm really on this journey, just wanting to plant myself within this experience, this YouTube experience. Obviously, the subscribers is definitely an important aspect of the journey. But for me personally, it's more about, aligning with my people, with people who are going to help me grow, who are going to help me, not financially, but also not financially, right? My main focus is alignment. I'm looking for alignment. And that's why, this video had to be cut at this long length of 26 minutes. Went a little bit longer than expected, but next time we're going to make it right. All right, guys. See you on the next one. Bye-bye.